Hello hobby friends and welcome to our Eldar livestream Webway weekend hobby hangout number 11. Golly gosh, 11. We've almost completed the full year. Say hello in the chats if you're about. Yeah, say hello. How are you doing? I'm pretty sure Gil's here. I've seen you say hello already, Gil. Hello, Gil. Pleasure to have you as always, sir. And I see Me When Life, local furry, is also here too. How's my audio doing, guys? Speak to me, talk to me. You may notice that we've got a little bit of a different thing going on. Hello, Mr. David Stone, apparently. Hello, Mr. David Stone. How's it going? Yeah, so new everything. Oh my lord, it's been quite the month at GRG Miniatures HQ. Moved house. Did that. The move sort of coincided with a long time planned trip on my husband's part, so there was lots of slogging for that, and then he came back and I had to go away for work. That was last week, so I got back on Wednesday. They lost my baggage, because of course they did, but you know, that's how it goes. Yeah, we're settling in anyway. We're in the new place, we're settling in, it's good, it's lovely, it's a massive upgrade for me in particular. I've got to be honest, I think I got the lucky end of the stick. Is that, I don't think don't use that. That's not, I don't think lucky end of the stick is a phrase. I got lucky in this move because I've ended up with the big studio room, the kind of the spare bedroom, I guess. But it's not a spare bedroom. It's my studio, or our workshop, because my husband does building stuff as well. So hopefully when it's all finished, it'll be good for making all sorts of things, not just painting minis. Yeah, at the moment, still a bit of a mess. I don't really have enough storage for everything. Even though it's a bigger space, I've somehow managed to end up with less storage. I'm not sure what's going on. Anyway, it's but it is nice to have more room and a new desk. And it's I might show you a trick with it later, because it's cool. But anyway, yes. So that's my life. That's what's going on with me. It's all craziness. I literally actually just got back from the old apartment, trying to clean that up and sell off the last bit of furniture that we're not bringing to the new place and all sorts of stuff. So, but yes, it's all good though. It's all happy times. A little echo. Okay. Yeah, I think that's going to be. I mean, that's not certainly not something I'm going to solve tonight, unfortunately. But that's something I'm going to have to look into how to. I mean, set up in this new space for audio in particular. I thought I turned that off. Oh no, because I was okay, right? Yeah. It should still be off. That's strange. Sorry, I'm getting flashy things on my phone that shouldn't be happening because I thought I turned that business off. But anyway. Oh no. There we go. Okay, sorry. Technical difficulties. Yeah, and I mean also just generally the streaming setup is going to be a bit. We'll see how it goes. I did my first video in the space last week. No, week before last, because I went away, right? I did my first video and we didn't quite get it right. Trying to find the camera angles and all that kind of stuff. Oh my lord. Someone come be my cinematographer, please, I beg you. But yeah, I'm genuinely really loving the new flat. Some teething problems. You may see me shivering since our boiler gave up the ghost about 30 minutes into trying to use it when I was first in the apartment. So that's not great, but we're surviving. You know, we've got a little electric blanket, electric heater, and luckily upstairs an electric shower as well, so we can also even shower at home. Anyway, we're not talking about Warhammer or elves, are we? So we need to talk about Warhammer elves. How is everyone's Warhammerish elf stuff going? And the non-elves, we do that bit of that as well. If you haven't been to one of these before, you might not know. I'm sure you have. I'm sure you're all the usual crowd. But there is a link in the description of this video that will take you to a Discord server. In the Discord server, there is a special channel, and that channel is for posting pictures of what you're working on, because it's a paint along, and you can post whatever you want. We particularly like elves, since it is the Eldar thingamajig live stream, but we'll allow other things. And that's it. So stick whatever you're working on, and even if you're not working on it right now, just show us what you're doing. Show us your minis. Show me your mini. We'll talk about happy things and how excellent everything is. And I will be painting today. We'll talk about that in a second. Hang on. It's not. Yes, it's the worst. It's not. So it's not. Obviously, it's the worst time of year for boiler issues because it's becoming very cold. So that's not great. And things are getting like damp and like the weather and everything. And you want a little bit of heat in the house to keep that out. But it's also about time of the year because this is the time of year when everyone discovers that their boiler is broken. So all of the boiler mechanics are all, all the boiler engineers are all super busy. So we are getting a whole new boiler. Oh my lord! Expenses we didn't need, but so it goes. We're getting a whole new boiler, but it's 3 weeks. It's only 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks, just under. Left, but it was 3 weeks from like booking and doing our down payment and all that kind of stuff. 3 weeks, and we're considered we're not like top priority because there's no elderly people or children or whatever in our household, but we're really high because we don't have any hot water or heating or anything. So we're really high on the priority list, but it's still 3 weeks. Anyway, that is life, so it goes. But as I say, I do really love the apartment, so I can't wait to really start getting settled in. Got some plans for building some shelves. Oh, I'm just looking at that might change. Anyway, yes, and to answer your question, Mr. Dicebot, it is still London, Greater London, technically. But yes, I'm still in London. It is not. Yes, it is fairly pricey to replace a boiler. It's not chump change. But at least we'll have a brand new beautiful boiler with 5-year warranty, and actually I was super lucky because my cousin, or technically my cousin's husband, and I don't even know if that's true, my mother's cousin's husband is a British Gas engineer, and like not even an engineer anymore. I think he's like a trainer or something. Anyway, he knows a lot about boilers and he works for British Gas. So and they do a family and friends discount. So word to the wise, if you know anyone involved in British Gas, speak to them about that. This is still not elves anyway. So we got a discount, so that's good. So it was slightly cheaper than it would have been, but it was still not an amount of money I would have parted with willingly. I'll put it that way. Yeah, I mean, sorry, this is in reaction to me when life. Yeah, I mean, we're not planning on running the boiler a lot anyway, because of everything that's going on in the world at the moment. But you do need it, like it's just doing dishes. Like we're obviously still cleaning dishes, but there's something about doing dishes in cold water that is deeply unpleasant. It's all right when you're camping. It's bearable when you're camping, but at home, I just want a little bit of warm water, please. That kind of stuff, and having a shower, not in the crappy electric shower, because electric showers are never good. They always just dribbles and there. But the shower in the bathroom seems to be quite nice. It seems to have good water pressure, and it's pretty new and all that. I think it's very new actually. I think the guy redid it before we moved in, but it'd be nice to have a shower in there. But yeah, not yet. We have to wait till December 7th, and then we can do it. In fact, to the which I'm almost certainly going to go run away to my parents' house in Norfolk with my husband and the cats for the last week of the boilerless life. Just we can both work remotely. I'm going to take up some paints and my setup and all that kind of stuff, and escape from the cold for a week. But yes, oh look, a talking head. Thank you very much for the congratulations on the move. You've got to watch Frozen 2 with the girls. Well, it's lovely to have some family time. You need to get them into mini painting now, really. That's what you need to do, Paul. And then you can have family time and hang out. There you go. But go on then. I'll let you watch Frozen instead. 16 grand a month, yes. No, yes, London prices. Indeed. A shower in cold water is just torture. Yeah, well, I haven't been doing it. So, like I say, luckily we have that trickly electric shower upstairs that if we didn't have that, then God knows, I don't know what we'd do. We probably would have run away to mum and dad's a lot sooner. Okay, we really do. You know what the problem is? We don't have Science Pie with us yet. I believe he's joining us tonight, but we don't have him yet, and he's not keeping me on track. So let's get on track. In order to get on track, what do I need to do? I need to do this. And then, I need to do this. I don't know why my keyboard shortcuts have stopped working, but for some reason my keyboard, something I guess in the move or whatever, has stopped my keyboard shortcuts. Is that this? Yes, it is. That's going to bug me. Probably you didn't notice, but it's going to bug me, so I'm going to move it. All right, so the name of the game for this month and probably next month as well is going to be Craig actually finishes something that he started in one of the streams. The whole original point of the Webway weekend, well, my understanding is correct, and again, Science Pie can correct me when he gets here, but I believe that the original Webway weekend was just a themed way of sharing photos, and then there was the sort of concept of having it as a means of motivation to get people to finish the projects that they'd started, and that kind of transitioned into this streaming thing. So the whole idea is really actually to help people get their projects over the line and have some friends to work with and all that kind of stuff. Well, it seems to have had quite the opposite effect on my Eldar army, because I felt compelled. I felt like I couldn't just be painting the same thing for 4 months in a row. I don't get loads of time to work on my own projects because I'm busy making videos and commission painting and what have you. So really, these videos have been the only time I've been working on personal projects, like my army, my Eldar army. But I felt like I had to make new stuff each stream, and so I have like mountains of half-finished Eldar miniatures, and that is quite the opposite of the idea of what we're doing. So today I'm going back with throwback Saturday. We're going to paint these little chappies who are the Artel W. I can't remember what he calls them, fire drakes or something, I think he calls them, fire dragon proxies. I say he because I'm pretty sure the guy who runs that is a he. I don't know, but I feel like maybe I'm assuming that, so my apologies. They at Artel make these guys, which I thought are pretty cool. Some of them are a bit hit and miss with me with Artel, but I like these guys. And they do a lot of work for me. That reminds me, I went and played a game. I went and played 3 games of Warhammer 40,000 with my mate James in Scotland, and it was fantastic because James is one of the best. If GRG Miniatures ever hit the big time, the YouTube channel. If I had loads of money, I think I would hire James to do battle reports, because he puts together such fun, interesting games. I'm just this is what I need. We never play like competitive stuff. We never play like the latest rules and all that kind of stuff, like what they play at tournaments. So it wouldn't be that. It never is that. But he always puts together really, really, really fun narrative games. And even when he doesn't put together like big narratives, he always makes really beautiful boards, full on with the effort. And this time he outdid himself, because we played 3 narratively linked games with custom rules where the rules affected each other. the rules affected the next game. So what did we do? It was let me see if I remember. There was a planet with blackstone pylons on it, and the Eldar, and it was a former Eldar world, not a maiden world, but like a former Eldar world, and the Eldar wanted to get it back, and so Eldrad's plan was to throw it into the warp so that he could do something with it. I mean, whatever. It's just cool in it. But then the Imperials arrived, and they were messing around with the pylons, and they didn't know what they were doing, and they were making a mess of things like the Imperials always do. So the first game was Eldar Lands, and what they were trying to do is they were trying to redirect an orc. Poor orcs, they always just end up being a weapon for someone else. The Eldar, frequently. My cat's come to say hello. There we go. Meow. So yes, Eldar lands on the planet. They try and redirect the orcs into the Blood Angels that are on the planet so that they can stall the Imperials, the monkey scum. So that game was a massive Eldar success. Absolutely kicked butt. And I think nearly tabled the orcs. And so that meant that in our next game, which was Eldar versus the Blood Angels, I got to roll and do just like mortal wounds on a number of his units before the game even started, to represent the fact that they'd had this battle with the orcs before the Eldar arrived. So then the Eldar get on the scene, and that game was tough, and I was a bit of a... anyway. I should have been more... what's the word? A better sport. I got very frustrated with how badly I was doing, because I can't work out how... Space Marines are not supposed to be hard, right? And that, although what James said... Ooh, excuse me. What James said, and I think this maybe is true, is that Space Marines are a bad tournament level force at the moment with their rules. God, they've gotten a bit old. They've been outclassed by other stuff, etc., etc. But for casual players like us, Space Marines are still pretty strong, because there's very little that you have to remember, it seems, with Space Marines. It's always just like, I mean, especially his Blood Angels, it's just like, basically their special move is just add loads of dice. Every time he came in for attack, he was like, okay, these guys have got 3 attacks, and then they get 1 because they're Blood Angel, 1 more because they're Blood Angels, they got 1 more because they charge, they got 1 more because this guy's holding this weapon, they got 1 more because... It just keeps on adding dice. Okay, now we need to times these 50 million dice by the 10 guys and the 10 Terminators or whatever that are attacking you. And it was painful. I don't think it was I can't... The last game was... he won, but it was like very close in the end, actually, by points, as it were. It didn't feel like a close game, but by the end, actually, it was like 11-9 or something, I think. So the second game... Oh yeah, the point of the second game was get over the line, basically. I was trying to get as many units into his backline as possible to represent that we were trying to get into the undercaves of the system so we could go mess with the pylons, because that's where they were. So that was fairly brutal, but I did get quite a bit over the line. I can't remember what advantage that gave me in the next game, though, off the top of my head. But anyway, it gave me some kind of an advantage, getting a bit of stuff over the line. And then the last game was Blood Angels in the thing, and he even added in some like Inquisitor and Mechanicus models like around the space that could sort of do like, they could deny a psychic power, or if I shot at them they'd shoot back, that kind of stuff. So they weren't like fully active in the game, but they were there, and he put loads of little servitors around. It was very cool. It was very, very cool. But yeah, so that last game was 11-9, I think, which meant that the planet did go into the warp. It did get sort of consumed into the warp, which was part of Eldrad's plan for some reason. But not in the way that they wanted. They didn't get full control. So we're probably going to continue that narrative the next time we meet up. He's maybe going to be down in London some point soon, and we will, continue the story. I might get my Chaos Force out, because we'll be in the warp, won't we? So that'll be interesting. But I haven't played Chaos with the new codex. I mean, I played with my Chaos Force I want to say twice, because the last codex was so bad, and I'm a bad player anyway, so it was just a feel bad all around. It just wasn't worth it. And then new codex came out, and I just haven't had a chance yet. So there you go. Dum-ba-da-bum. So what are we looking at? Slay the Grey, yes, that's what we want to do, and it was a very Eldred move. I'm assuming you're talking about pointing orcs at Space Marines. It's a very Eldar thing to do, and Eldred in particular. On the VJ Goosh, yes, okay. VJ? Liquitex? You mean these guys? When you're talking about the Goosh? Yep, we can talk about those in a moment. Blood Angels are doing good in tournaments. Oh, there you go, yeah. So VJ was Vallejo, but it's not, it's Liquitex, yes. Okay, well, there you go. So I don't feel that bad for being a whiny loser. James also pointed out to me that I always give up, not give up, but I always sell myself short. I always think I'm doing really badly, and I'm like, oh, this is rubbish, I'm doing badly, and then actually it's I'm not doing that badly. Like that game where I ended up 9 points, not that far behind. Yes, Space Marines are doing good in casual games, yeah. Hello there. Oh no, invalid link. Sorry. Okay, I will fix that right now before anything else, because that's quite important, isn't it? This one. See, this is what we need our. What's face for? Right. So okay. I'm gonna post the link. That's the link in the chat now. And then I should be able to. Oh god, I hope I'm still streaming. Yeah, it still says live. Okay, how do I stream health? Here we go, edit this, description. I'll change the link here to that. Save. You'll probably, you've got the link now anyway in the chat. But just in case, you'll probably have to refresh to see the new link that I've just added to the description. So sorry about that, I must have used an old link, and they do go invalid, anyway, I must have used one that goes invalid. Alright, Liquitex, Goosh, great. That's about it, really. They're fantastic. They seem expensive when you buy them, but actually, there you go, there's a typical mini paint bottle, there's a bottle of Goosh. I can't remember the prices off the top of my head, but if you do a milliliter by milliliter comparison, and hobby products, always you have a hobby premium, right? These companies are sort of smaller and more niche, so they can charge more, so they do. So anyway, I don't think that the Liquitex is bad, and they're just really fantastic paints. So artist grade paints generally are better than the ones that we get from most hobby makers. Not all hobby makers, not all the paints in a given range will be bad. There's lots of good ones. Like I think Vallejo Game Color has some terrible paints. Not terrible, that's an exaggeration. Sorry. Has some paints that I don't particularly like in it. But then it's also got things like Squid Pink, which I'm pretty sure is just quinacridone magenta in a pretty good medium. In good pigment density. It's just a good paint, right? So, but it's very up and down. You don't know always what you're getting. Whereas when you buy artists' paints, they tend to tell you exactly what's in it, for example. So they get S2 will be the name of... no, not S2. That's funny. I managed to pick up the only bottle that doesn't... That is so weird. Does it have it anywhere? That is so bizarre. Literally, all of them have these codes, right? Like you can see here, PY, what is this, 74. So that's the pigment name, pigment yellow 74. Let's find one that's in a Y. This one over here is going to be a PW. I don't know what the W stands. Oh, because PW would be white, and then it's got green and blue with the different numbers. Anyway, so they tell you what's in them. For some reason, the bottle that I picked up doesn't have that, which is literally the first one I've noticed that it doesn't have that on it. That's so bizarre. Anyway, they tend to tell you what's in them, and it tends to be very few pigments. They tend to be very fine pigments, and there tends to be a lot of pigments in artist paints. But the reason we don't normally use artist paints is because they're the wrong kind of consistency for mini painting, but not these. So they're artist grade paints, but they have the consistency and they work like hobby paints. That's what I've been trying to say. and I have now said it. So in that sense, they are just great. They're very high quality paints. They finish nice and matte, which is what I like personally. I know some people prefer satin finishes, but yeah, I'd rather have matte, so that's good for me. And they cover really well. Mostly, there's no such thing as a perfect paint set with coverage because of the pigments. It would be impossible. Yellows just, except for a few exceptions, yellows just don't cover very well, and certainly the kinds that you'll get in acrylic paints don't cover well. So, but generally they cover very well. Actually, the one thing that I'm not a big fan of, but I have on my table tonight because I'm suffering from unpacking syndrome and I can't quite find everything that I want. Yes, still after being in the flat for so long. But anyway, is this black? I prefer the Vallejo black. So if I had found that quick enough, and that's what I would have been using tonight. But I think I'm painting wrong already because I'm not paying attention. The black is fine. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with it, but I just prefer the Vallejo black. And I'm using their white as well again because these were the ones that were to the top. Normally I would use a slightly heavier bodied white because that's just what I've gotten used to. I've got a I think it's De La Rowley acrylic white thingamajig. Yeah, the setup isn't doing it for me. Also, the time has come actually. The time has come, my friends. Do they reactivate? I know Goosh is... Yeah, right. So it's a weird one. That let's talk about that. But first, I'm gonna go all the way. I'm gonna go to Talking Head, and then I'm gonna do this. Oh, what's happening? So I'll tell you what's happening. My desk is moving down. Because I got myself a very fancy desk as a sort of... I don't deserve a present, but anyway, I got myself a present. But yeah, a standing sitting desk because I was getting a bit worried about how much time I was spending sitting down. It's not very good for you, and I'd sit down basically all day, every day. But I didn't want just a standing desk because sometimes you do want to sit down and work, like right now, because it's 8:30 at night, and yeah, I don't want to stand up. So yeah, got a fancy little motorized desk. And I can actually do this as well. It's got 3 memory settings. I might have to change my camera angle if I do this. Whoa, bye guys. So this is let's pull that down. You can get webcams now, can't you? That follow you. Let's change back to that anyway. You don't need to see my face. So I've set it up so that it's also high, so that I can paint with a lot of support, but with the Mini close to my face. This was the thing that I was most excited about actually with the desk, is doing this. I think I haven't quite got it right yet. I don't know if I haven't worked out my posture whilst I'm doing it, or if I haven't worked out the height properly. Because if I spend too long like this, I do get a bit of shoulder ache. So we have to work out what's going on there. But in principle, I think it's a winner. All right. Although now my angles are all wrong on this. I told you this would be a learning stream for me. I grabbed a picture. There was a thing in the Black Friday sales, a camera mount. So I got myself a new camera mount, and hopefully that will solve some of the issues. Yeah. All right. So reactivation. I would say they reactivate in exactly the way that I want them to. That is to say that they do reactivate, but only for a very short time after they appear to have dried, and they reactivate in a sort of useful way. They don't when for example, actually I think these guys are painted with that, so I've got to be careful. When the I find when the speed color paints from Army Painter reactivate, they reactivate in the worst possible way. They lift up paint from underneath them and they tear. They don't become like workable paint again. They just like come off of the Mini. That's been my experience. I know it's not everyone's, and I know there's lots of drama and blah blah blah, but that's been my experience. But with these gouache paints, my experience has been more along the lines of like, I mean, basically just like longer working times is how I would describe it. You can play with them a little bit more, and even when you think, oh, have I missed my window of opportunity for feathering out that edge? Nope, you haven't. You're all right. You can still go in, and then but they will sort of do a final set, if you like, by the time they completely cure. So yeah, that's been my experience anyway. Generally, yeah, just top paints. In fact, they're on my Christmas list. My family does Secret Santas now because it's just nuts. As adults trying to buy presents for everyone, and that's not what Christmas is about. But for us, so we do a Secret Santa, and you just kind of stick in, wish list stuff that you fancy. And even, I mean, I suppose it's a business expense for me, really. I should just buy it myself and what have you. But I stuck some more of these in there because I want to finish my set of them. And let's be honest, the real hobby is paint collecting. I got the full set, mama. Don't know who that was supposed to be. All right. Doing some black bits to give them some definition. So yeah, all about gouache. Schminke heavy-bodied white. Okay, cool. I don't know if I know. I've heard of Schminke, but I've never bought any of their stuff. But yeah, sounds good. Very nice, but pretty pricey. Is that the moving desk or the paints? The moving desk is pretty pricey. I've got an all right deal on it, but they are. I mean, it's it's definitely not a. And I got an L-shaped one as well because I wanted more working space. So it was pricier yet, but luckily for me, that's because I work from home, it's a it's a business expense. Anyway. I did think about it because it is a lot of money, and we've just moved, and when you've just moved, you tend to not have a lot of disposable income immediately. So yeah, like I did think about it, but in the end, I just thought, you know what, you can't put a price on your health, and I was getting kind of worried about how much time I was spent sitting down, how much time I was spending sitting down. There you go. Them's the words. Okay. In comments. Recommendation for white. And Marco Frassoni just showed us all that there's two kinds of white. The mixing white, which is something that I'd missed. So that's good to know. Thank you as always, Marco. You are my favourite YouTuber. And an all-round good guy. Let me see. Flash. Yeah, okay, no, I didn't miss anything. Yeah, so are you boys and girls and folk working on... focused on... There we go, getting a little spot there. Are you working on anything tonight? I will go and check out the vids, the page soon, of course, but will I find anything when I go there? You got to get it posted. You got to let me see your stuff. Show me your minis. Show me your minis. I want to see your minis. Yeah. I want to see it. Are you working on something cool? Yeah, man. Marco's fab. He is a fab guy as well. I met him. I went to one of his workshops, and he's just a genuine chap. So show Marco the love. Kind of want to go to his workshop. I mean, at Warhammer Fest, but I didn't buy tickets, and I don't know if they're still available, and I don't know if I'm going to be available for that. I can't remember when it is now. Is it in... When is it? Anyway. I mean, part of me is like, yeah, because then maybe I might meet some people, some people from the Discord or whatever. And certainly, he's doing a workshop there, and I could take part in that. That's always fun. Catch up with Marco, see how he's doing, and see all the wonderful. They're doing another what do you call it, aren't they? They're doing another Golden Demon, so it'd be cool to have a look at some Golden Demon entries in person. I've never done that before. But I'm not quite sure, and I fear I may have missed my opportunity now. How am I doing on sound, by the way? Because I'm not facing the microphone and talking out anymore. I'm concentrating on painting voice. Yes, okay. Bum, bum, bum. David Stone is still working on vampires from Underworlds. Ah, yes. The green glowy guy and the other chappie. Very nice. But then back to my green blue Ombre Elder. Very nice. Get those vampires done. And why not? A little bit of vampire. When those Sigmar vampire models first came out, I think that was the closest they ever got to having me in Sigmar. I was like, oof, there is something about them that I am liking. They felt just quite different as well. They felt like really distinctly stylized. Thanks for the sound. Cheers, guys. I felt like, and maybe I'm making this up, but that was the first time I remember seeing that particular way of doing cloth, like that kind of angled, or at least it's the most extreme I've ever seen it on a mini, GW mini. I mean, they got this way of doing cloth now that it looks really cool, and that kind of they were just really good. They managed to keep these really simple forms but make it feel super gothic and vampire-y, and also not kind of stayed or whatever. What's the word I'm looking for? Not been there, done that, seen that. Not cliched. Yeah, big fan of the Sigmar vampire models. Haven't painted any yet, however, and I would like to. Yeah, because they are cool. Oh, I've got a question, and this is gonna. I've been wanting to ask this for a while actually, and just haven't, because I've never quite known how to broach it without it sounding like a request, which it most certainly is not. But I am curious to know if the super chats button appears for you guys, because my channel is monetized. Thanks YouTube. So I do make pocket change, but I do make money from the videos. And I believe when a monetized channel goes live, you get the super likes thing, but I don't know if that button's there or not. And this is not fishing for anyone to use that, because you guys are just here to have fun with me, and this is not about making money or anything. But yeah, just curious if it's there or not, because I don't get to see that because I'm streaming, and it's my channel. It wouldn't show me anyway. Oh, hi. No, that was weird. I thought I heard a knocking at the door. It's not Halloween anymore. Can't do spooky things. I wanted to do spooky things for the Halloween stream, but I was right in the middle of the move, and I just couldn't bring it together. So we painted a spooky model instead. And I'll have to buy a silly Christmas hat for next month, won't I? Yes, I will. I remember that I didn't do something on the back of him, so I bring him back. I like the more feral, scary look they had, almost out of control and animalistic, yet keeping the suave vampire. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yes. Oh! David Stone. You genuinely now. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you very much. That's a very generous thing to do, and it's good to know it's there, in case I do. Well, I don't know. I mean, these Eldar streams are definitely just for the community and the fun. And I mean, all my stuff is, but it does cost money to do some of it. So it's nice to get support, but no one feel obliged or even inclined to follow in David's footsteps, because we are all just here for fun. But thank you very much, David. That was very generous of you. Yeah. I'm not... Right. Okay. So, let's have a quick look here. I've got to make a decision about where I'm putting myself today. I think I'll put myself down. That doesn't sound good, does it? And we're going to go down here. I promise I'm not just playing with it. I'm just trying to get used to this new setup and how exactly I want to run things like streams and all the rest. So you can go away. Oh, come on, guys! I'm only seeing one post. So does that mean everyone is just listening along today? But we do have. Is it gonna work? Yes, it is. A beautiful turquoise warlock from Mr. Gill, and a nice looking beer as well. I won't lie, I did get a sneaky little beer in before the live stream, because like I say, we were cleaning the old apartment before I came down for the live stream, and if you spend a day cleaning an apartment, you need to go and pop in and have a quick beer, right? That's just it's obligatory. It's obligatory. So I have had my beer, and I'm now on the tea. But that beer does look delicious, but not quite as delicious as that lovely turquoise warlock, rather. Gorgeous. Warlocks is something I need to get back to. And something else that needs to happen is that people need to post more mini God damn it. You know what? Oh, damn it. Right, I'm just putting that in the bin right now. Yes, go away. Shoo. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I went on a whole big spiel there. You'd be glad you missed it, to be honest. It was rubbish. So I have two setups that show my desk. One that doesn't have me in the corner or a microphone, and one that does have me in the corner and the microphone. And I transitioned to the one without the microphone or me, like a big idiot, even though it's labelled and all that kind of stuff. And I originally set that up because in the old apartment, my toilet is next to the studio room. And in one of the live streams, one of the viewers said that they could hear me pee when I went for a pee break. So I thought, I don't know that. I'm gonna make one without the mic in it, so that I can put my like be right back notice up, and people can not hear me urinate. But anyway, toilet's further away now, so chances of people hearing me urinate if I do go for a pee break are pretty small. So I just deleted the no mic thing. Sorry about that. Terribly unprofessional. Thank you for alerting me. Yeah, we'll but back to your scheduled programming, I suppose. And that won't happen again now because I've deleted the thing that would make it happen. So what was I blathering on about? I was talking about yes, so I was responding to your comment, David. I think it said, who said it? Yes. Are you a David, or are you a Dave, David, by the way? I mean, I'm assuming you're a David, because you put David there, but that is very kind of you to say. And yeah, I mean, it's a weird one. I agree with you that, people who make content and all that kind of stuff should be supported, because it does take a lot of time and a fair amount of money. I'm doing it because I want to, but that's no reason. I mean, I've worked in the arts my whole life in one way or another, and that has taught me to be very dissatisfied or kind of tired of that, the attitude that the enjoyment tax, I call it. Oh, you like your work, so you shouldn't get paid as much. What? What's that mean? I mean, I'm sorry if you don't like your job, but no one goes into a job interview and they're like, yes, but will you like working here? Because then we're going to cut your pay by 10%. No, that's not how it works. You get paid for the work you do. Anyway, what am I banging on about? So yeah, content creators should be paid for their work if possible. But there you go. The point I was making is that I don't want, because we live in kind of like content now is either ad revenue or this kind of like hyper tipping culture. It's like the kind of like tip gone extreme. Dave from about 18 to 35. Yeah, okay, I see that. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, so everything basically is kind of tip based or ad based. So the ads do themselves. I mean, actually, to be honest with you, if I was ever like, I don't know. I mean, if I was ever so Squidmar says that he gets his kind of his personal monthly salary is paid for by just out of his Patreon money, right? And now he's wanted to expand his business. He's hired guys. I'm sure he's got more people behind the scenes working with him as well. But we've seen his editor and the other guy that paints with him, and does the actual content with him and stuff, right? So great, good. I kind of feel like if I ever got in a position where I was definitely earning a proper decent full-time wage from Patreons, I would just turn the ads off on my videos. Because I bloody hate them. And I mean, YouTube's going to put their own ads there anyway, right? If I, as a creator, turn ads off, that doesn't mean that you don't see ads, unfortunately. It means you see fewer ads. But I do feel like I would do that. Maybe I'm lying to myself. because if you get that many patrons, you're getting that many more views, which means actually the income from the ads becomes significant. The income from ads for me at the moment is not significant. It's like topped out at $50 a month, I think, is the most it's ever been, right? So if you bear in mind making 4 videos, they take minimum 2 days to make. Absolute minimum. That's the fastest I've ever done it. So 50, 25, £17.50 for 2 days' work. The economics don't work out for the ad revenue. But if you had like as many viewers as Squidmar, I guess the ad revenue goes up. Then I'd be like, well, actually that's a significant chunk of money. I'm not going to give that up. But idealist Craig thinks, oh yeah, just turn the ads off, man, when you're making enough money from some other source. Because no one likes bloody ads. Anyway, so then the tipping culture is the other part of it. That's the kind of like Patreons and all that kind of stuff. And as you very kindly did, Mr. David. And yeah, that's cool. I just don't want people to feel excluded if they can't join in. And that's why I've got this weird relationship with Patreon, where I very much want all of my patrons to feel like they are getting special treatment, because I'm absolutely genuinely overwhelmed when I think about the fact that anyone out there wants to give me money for doing this. That's really, £3 a month or whatever it is, but anything at all is really, really, really heartening and humbling and wonderful. So I want to pay back in kind and make those people feel special as well, who are supporting the channel in that way. At the same time, I'm like, I want everything to be free, and I want everyone to enjoy everything, and everyone be involved, and all that kind of stuff. So that's always a sort of a challenge. Again, blah blah blah. See, this is the problem when you live stream: is you end up you're talking to yourself effectively, right? You guys are there, but the response is not like a conversation response. So I end up talking about what's going on in my head, which is normally either painting or painting adjacent stuff. It's really what I should be talking about is you guys and space elves. Space elves, boo 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 boo. Yeah, it's tough, man. It is tough, and music is all of it is really, but like music is definitely one of those ones where people are like, oh, but you like it, so why can't I just pay you in exposure or whatever that rubbish that they bang on about. And the thing is as well is like, can you imagine what an awful world it would be if we didn't have professional musicians? Like, how terrible. And I'm not saying this, I'm not trying to like sort of be over the top or whatever, but the world would be appalling if we didn't have professional musicians. But everyone wants it for free, or as close to damn free as they can get. That's just the nature of things, isn't it? Unfortunately, that's the way the world is currently set up to work. So it goes. So Space Elves, what's going on in the world of Warhammer 40,000? It's that big new narrative thing with the Space Hulks and the... hello, Mr. Pie. No problem, dear. No problem. Be busy. We're surviving. We did have a little bit of a mishap where I'd put the wrong link in the thing, but I think that's fixed now. Your presence is desired but not required, I suppose is what I'm saying. I like it when you're around. But if you're busy chops, go be busy. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, World of Warhammer 40,000. At the moment, what is going on is that big Space Hulk business. Right. Okay. And we know that... I should set up a camera here whilst I'm doing this. That's better, isn't it? At least you see my face rather than the top of my balding head. Theoretically, I could just move my camera now, but no, I'm not going to. So Space Hulk Abaddon, that bad one, Abaddon, is trying to do something nasty with Space Hulks and a big new demon guy that's pretty cool, I thought. I was like, yeah, not 100% sold on the face, to be honest. Like, it feel a little goofy, but then that's Warhammer, you know, to be fair. But yeah, anyway, he's still cool. Anyway, so that's all going on. So, but what is this going to mean for the elves? We know that the Xenos book is not coming out until quite a bit later. But predictions, please. It's going to mean something for the elves, right? I mean, basically, with these, more or less all the factions get some little tidbit, don't they? But I've got a feeling. I'll tell you my predictions whilst the chat catches up and the lag catches up. I feel like we're going to get another aspect update. I think that's fair. I think we deserve it. We've still got a lot of resin or formerly metal aspects, right? Well, a lot. We've got the warp spiders and the swooping hawks, and it is a lot. I mean, bearing in mind there's only 7 or whatever it is. Cricks from War Machine. I think I know Cricks. I don't think I know War Machine. When I say I don't think I know. I don't know War Machines. I'm afraid that doesn't mean much to me. But I will look them up in a minute. Yeah. What? So striking scorpions, swooping hawks, and jumping spiders. Jumping spiders. Warp spiders. Jumping spiders. That's good. I mean, it's. We need a verb there. We don't know like the other ones. Swooping hawk, right? We need a gerund. We need an ing verb. Swooping hawks, striking scorpions, jumping spiders. That's what they do. They jump. Is that it for the non-plastic refreshed? Because the banshees have been done, and the spears have been done, and the big gun boys, the death chappies. Dark Reapers have been done. Who am I missing? Am I missing anyone? So we've got 3 in the bag, and there's 3 more. Is there any more after that? I feel like I'm missing something. It's a game from Privateer Press about 8 years ago. It was the number 2 behind Warhammer 40k. Oh, okay. Wait, no, War Machine isn't the one with all the mechs. Is that War Machine? Am I going mad? Yeah, Warp Spiders and the Phoenix Lord, right? Yeah, I remember that rumour, Gil. So, I mean, I think we should get all of them, to be honest. Come on, don't eke out the rest of this update, please, Games Workshop. But they probably won't get all of them. But I will definitely take one, because yeah, I caved and bought third party. Oh, I'm painting them. Crying out loud. Yes, we need fire dragons as well, because they're still old minis, the GW ones. There you go. That's the one that I was missing. Yeah, big stompy war robots. Yeah. Okay. I said the scorpions. I think striking scorpions. But yes, these guys. We need new ones of these as well. I've got these ones. So we don't. Games Workshop. You can do these last, because I'm sorted. So don't worry about these. But I really want to see plastic swooping hawks. I loved the swooping hawks models when I was a kid. I just thought I kind of liked everything with wings. I went through a wing phase, I guess, when I was a kid. Like, is he called Angel or something? One of the X-Men. I always thought he was the coolest because he had wings. And yeah, swooping hawks were by far my favourite Eldar mini, or let's say, type. When I was a kid, I'd love to see what they do with them in plastic, because I'm sure they can actually make them, like, they're cool minis, like the little goofy old guys are cool, but yeah, they could make them so dynamic and stuff now. Love to see that. But yeah, I think warp spiders are probably next. Wasn't there something that, no, that was the
We got a tease of a warp spider. Everyone thought it was warp spiders, but in the rumor engine, but it was just because that Autarch was carrying a warp spider gun. So, but yeah, we're gonna get another aspect, right? At least one. It would be very cool if they brought back, if they gave us a whole new character as part of this arc as well. Chaos have got their new guy. The Space Marines are almost certainly getting the Lion at some point, right? Lionel Johnson. That seems to be in the bag, if Valrak is to be believed, and he frequently is. Did I do his? No, I didn't. It's going to be another one of those streams where it's already 9 o'clock. We go to 10:30. Didn't mention that. 10:30 is the last orders. 10:30, or last orders at like 10:20, and we close at 10:30. It's the Space Marines are going to get that guy. The Chaos are getting that guy, the Lionel Johnson. The Chaos chappies are getting the new wannabe god demon. I cannot for the life of me remember the name of that thing. That's a model I will probably get because I do have a Chaos army. I want to do Abaddon as well. I was so dumb. I thought you could only play Abaddon in Black Legion armies, but that's not true, right? You can. There are ways of squeezing him into non-Black Legion armies. So what the hell am I doing not having Abaddon? I need to get him in my word bearers. But the elves, it would be cool. I don't know if I don't know. It would be cool to get a new character this part of this arc, but it feels like is every single faction going to get something of that scope? Don't know. Maybe. What do you think? I know we deserve it. Don't get me wrong. I know we deserve it. The elves deserve, everything, really. They deserve the galaxy. They are the rightful rulers. Elf supremacy. But will we actually get that? We will see. We will see. And when as well. We're just getting a bunch of bloody tarot cards at the moment. Emperor's Tarot. Well, indeed. I know that they have to keep the Emperor's Tarot ambiguous so that they can do things like this, where they just kind of seem to be inventing ones that are useful to them. But is there an in-law? Is there something about the Emperor's Tarot that means that they can just do that, or are they just being cheeky and not telling us the whole Emperor's Tarot deck so that they can invent stuff ad hoc when they need it? I don't know. Because I remember seeing in one of the episodes on Warhammer Plus of Hammer and Bolter, they had an episode that featured a little bit of the Emperor's Tarot, and I seem to remember that the cards that they had were blank, and then the image appeared rather than it being like a physical card with something printed on it. So I suppose if they're like that, then maybe there's something about them that means that they produce any picture. Maybe it is an ad hoc system, but I don't think it is it? I imagine there's a defined deck. Why am I so obsessed with the Emperor's Tarot? I don't know. I quite like real tarot cards, in the real world, as from an aesthetic point of view. They've got good, interesting aesthetic sense, sort of aesthetic language. And very riffed on. Their grandmother's done a version of the tarot cards, right? Da-da-da. Sloop. Maybe I'm making it all up. Maybe the Emperor's Tarot is perfectly well defined, and I just don't know. But I feel like they make it up ad hoc when they want them. Has anyone posted anything? I wonder. Can I have a little look? I've got my suspicions about you lot. I've got my suspicions.
Oh, we get a little bit of posting. We do get a little bit of posting. Let's have a quick look. Beep, 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 beep. This one. Go. All right. So Mr. David Stone himself. Lovely. Another Warlock. Very nice. In the what's-face colours, right? That's the, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think you mentioned it. What is that? What are they called? Mimera? Is that Mimera? I always get the smaller craft worlds a little confused because I'm a terrible terrible elf fan. I think that's Mimera. And here's the lovely doohickeys, the lovely vampires. Yes. Excuse me, I don't have a cough button in my things. And Mr. LS, who is just joining us, I believe. You've got the little new person mark next to you. Those Zangors on doohickeys, very nice. On extra special bases as well. That must be 3D. Or are they not even? Are they third party? Did you say something about them and I'm not reading? From January, you'll be working on my new Ideneth Deepkin. Until then I got... Oh no, okay, now you got... Okay, right, until then you got 9 Zangors. Okay, right, yeah, see, I'm not going mad. I was going to say, that doesn't look like Ideneth Deepkin. You know why? Because it isn't. These aren't the official bases though, are they? They're very cool. I mean, the bases that they're on as well, obviously, and these things as well. But they're not even... What am I looking at? Talk to me, Mr. LS. I like it, but I don't know why. Yeah, very cool. Nice work, me dudes. Nice work. Loving it. I've lost you. Where are y'all? In your chatty chat. You're all working hard. That's why. That is a good thing. You do that. You work hard. You don't have to stop your painting to talk to me. In fact, I advise against it. Stay away from Craig. He's a dangerous character. The loose morals. You say that about people. They once did. He has loose morals. What does that mean? I mean, if it was like actually, you know, what the phrase says, then fair enough. But I don't think the people that they use that phrase against frequently were the ones with the loose morals. Anyway, what am I on about? What is he talking about? This is what happens when you paint and talk. You speak rubbish. D. Cool. All right, that's the Xarch key, not Xarch. Yeah, Xarch. Yeah. Model from that. It's got a really gnarly. I've got to put a little "not safe for work" tag on this. Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, David. That's too bad. David has left the building because his son has woken up sad, and David has to miss that little beaut. Look at that little burnt corpse. Disgusting and excellent. Well done, Artel. We love to see it. Generally, yeah, no good models. So, the thing with the Artel elves is most of them are slightly... Well, they're a little bit too big. That's just an Artel thing generally. They kind of feel like they want to scale them to Marines, but GW scale their elves slightly smaller than Marines. Here's a Marine, an unfinished what's-face. And yeah, so he's the... Well, I suppose he's a bit smaller. But, no, but height-wise, about the same. Just he's not as chunky, because he's not a Space Marine. But, yeah, so Artel stuff tends to be a little bit tall, but also a little bit too detailed compared to the GW elves, I always feel. Well, not like detailed, it's not detailed per se, but there's just more going on the mini. So like these guys have got kind of like all sorts of filigrees and
edgy bits and all that kind of stuff, whereas the GW, even the new GW aspects have relatively plain armor. And that's fine too. But that's why, like with the Swooping Hawks, I know for like Artel's bringing out Swooping Hawks, so they're finally doing it. Even I pestered them for those on Instagram. But having pestered them, I don't think I'm going to buy them because they're very like fancy again, and that's cool. But I want to see what Jez Goodwin's done with his reboot. Probably not much in so much, by which I mean he's probably done what he's done with the rest of the aspects, which is just kind of update the models but not the concepts. And that's great because the models are good, they just need an update. But yeah, I'm a big Jezza fan. I like that man's style. I want to see what he's done. Some really good archive now at this point. Maybe some of you watched it when it wasn't archivey. Videos, interviews with Jez Goodwin on the old Vox, what's it called? Vox something podcast. You can get the YouTube videos. There's some hilarious videos of what's he called? There's some hilarious videos of John Blanche, painting whilst not being interviewed and not really being. I mean, a little bit interviewed, but the poor guy. He's the guy who does a lot of stuff for Warcom and stuff. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. That poor guy, because John Blanche is a pretty out there chap. He's pretty away with the fairies, and he's drawing whilst he's being spoken to, and he's not like engaged with the lore and stuff in the same way as sort of the new the current raft of, I think that GW employees now are GW employees because they're like us and they like the kind of the established lore of Games Workshop, which is what people like John Blanche was working on back in the 80s. But John Blanche is still kind of like for him it's still just a little playground where he just makes like stuff, and so like you can see the guy trying to tease out some like interesting lore insights from John as he's painting or whatever, and John Blanche just like, I don't know, he's probably a baddie. Just not like kind of buying into that aspect of it. That's an interesting one. Just interesting to see John Blanche like doing a sketch and all that kind of stuff. But the Jez Goodwin interviews, and there's a few on there, none about elves, unfortunately, but there's one about the Mechanicus, Adeptus Mechanicus, when they did the reboot of Mechanicus. And there is one where he talks about the knights. Anyway, if you're into concept art and concept development and art generally, and hearing someone who's been instrumental, I mean, I would say like John Blanche is the kind of atmosphere of Warhammer 40,000, of course. Like when you think about Warhammer 40k, you think about grimdark, and Mr. Blanche isn't far behind in your thoughts. But in terms of like the things that we play with, the things that we paint, I would say like 40k is kind of feels like to me like Jez Goodwin's thing. Like he's got his hands in every single one of the pies, especially nowadays. Like every time they're refreshing a range, the interviews that come out are with Jez Goodwin and that other chap. So anyway, it's good to see behind the curtain. See what goes through the minds of the 40k developers on the aesthetic side. But yeah, I'm gutted that they don't do that format anymore, because I would love to see a long sit down, because those podcasts are long, they're like 50 minutes or something. I'd love to see a long, or hear or whatever, a long sit down interview with Mr. Goodwin on the elves. don't think there's necessarily so much to say about the reboot, because as I said, it's basically just, you know, good design, let's do it again. But you know, with modern technology and all that affords us. But to just kind of go through the history and stuff, and you know, there are aspects of the Eldar aesthetic that are pretty obvious, but there's some stuff which, like, you know, I'd be curious to know like where he kind of got it from. You know, how he ended up with the things that he did. Yeah. Anyway, blah blah blah. Yes, you are a little space elf, aren't you? Singing the praises of Mr. Jez Goodwin and Games Workshop. I'm painting a third-party model. Well, it's your own fault, GW. You're too slow updating the elves. I could no longer wait, especially when you gave these guys those juicy rules. These guys do a lot of work on the tabletop, what they do for me anyway. Although they don't seem to appear in the what's-a-face lists very much, so... the professional list. Excuse me, yawning. Well, you know what, guys? That's life. It's been a long few months. Month. I'm tired, but I'm pleased to be here. Let's put it like that. And it's taken me, what, an hour and 15 minutes to paint black bits on the inner armor of 7 guys. I still have 2 more to go. That's impressive. Especially, it's nuts because I've painted whole minis in less than an hour from start to finish. So the fact that this is taking so long is pretty ridiculous, but that's all right. We're getting it closer to done. We're moving it from the pile of potential to the pile of glory. Yes, indeed we are. This does leave us with a slightly odd thing though, actually. It's, story time. I do like to take a break in somewhere in the middle-ish of the stream from painting, just to kind of give my hands and eyes a rest. Because even when I'm painting by myself, I don't usually paint for an hour solid. No, I normally paint for about an hour solid. I mean, it's funny, all of the kind of statistics you learn when you're making videos, because you can see like the run time on the raw footage and that kind of stuff. So normally I paint for about an hour, and then just naturally I'll be like, okay, I need to take a break. That's my usual kind of pattern of painting, I've discovered. Not a big break, but you know, I'll just need to like put the paintbrush down and look out a window or check my phone. Let's be honest, that's what we all do now, isn't it? Catch up with the world. But yeah, I like to do that in the stream too, and normally would do that with story time by having a little look through old and contemporary codex to learn about the models that we're painting. But did we do the fire dragons? Because I might not have been doing story time at that point, or I might not have been doing it about the you know, the thing that I was painting. I can't remember when story time started. Yeah, maybe we will have a quick look. And no, whatever, can't see that. Top quality professional painting. Me, can't see that. Never mind. All right. Pop him out. Bong, bong, bong. What's going on over here? Close that up. Well, Mr. LS, you've disappeared. Yes, and that's just saying that. Cool. Yes, indeed. So, we've got to do this with the black on this guy. Oh, well, we haven't done that. And we probably didn't do it in the last one. No, we did do it. Okay, So keep on forgetting that they've got little pipes on the back of their heads that I've also painted black. Like a fool. Just to pressure myself. I laid out all those pretty colours on my thing, and all I've done is slowly enclose my white in an ever spreading pool of black. Shop. And shop. Slop it on. Okay. Yeah, it's good enough. It's good enough for me. It's good enough for the table. And I don't go wild on my own army. Except for characters and that kind of stuff, I'll put extra effort in, but if I'm painting however many of these there are, 9 I think, 9 guys with the same outfits and the same colours and all that kind of stuff. For my own army, it's just about getting it to a tasty tabletop standard. There is something I want to do on these guys though. I don't feel like they're quite, it's a bit difficult to tell with the lighting, but they're not quite dynamic. The dynamic range across the mini is not quite strong enough for me. I want better global lighting. I want I think what I want to do is spray in some shadows when everything is done, but I'll do that with the airbrush just to get it done quickly, so that won't be happening tonight, that's for sure, but it will be happening at some point in the future. I suspect might even risk it for a biscuit, a little bit of magenta under. So magenta's like a cool red colour. I mean, it's the coolest part of that end of the spectrum, that portion of the spectrum, which should work, right, for fiery orangey colours, I think. Pull them down into a colder red for the shadows, maybe. Got to be very careful with it though. I appear to not chat as much. Yeah, that's good, Gil. You don't have to chat. I'll do the chatting for both of us, as we can well see. Blabbermouth. Yeah. So magenta under spray. Yeah, it's worth trying it. And that's another thing that my personal armies are good for, is messing around, seeing if something works. 'Cause if it doesn't, there's only one disappointed person in that equation, and that's me. If I mess around when I'm painting someone else's stuff, not so good. Not so good. I'm being a bit sloppy with these guys, but anyway, doesn't matter. Look at your delicate little elven neck, you. If you're playing Blood Angels, by the way, major piece of advice I've gleaned from that game, all those series of games I played with James: don't get involved with the Terminators. Like, I just kept on wasting stuff on them. Send in some Wraith Blades to chop them up if you can. Because I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the general kind of approach to Terminators is. I mean, I suppose that's it. You have to have something in your army that's kind of equivalent, and in the case of the elves, there's a Wraith Blades or Wraith Guards. But you can't really use tanks on them, I found, because you don't have enough shots to actually kill a bunch. And of course infantry don't work. Everything just bounces off that bloody armour of theirs. So yeah, the Wraith Blades were the only ones that could kind of stand up to them. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, if you can ignore them, I suppose you ignore them, don't you? If you can. But they're pretty nasty chaps. You throw a sacrifice at them. You know, you throw something that'll slow them down and just keep them busy. That they have to chop through like a big blob of Guardian Defenders, something like that. You only have to move 5. Yeah, but if you got Wraith Blades in your army, that's what did the work for me anyway. And then like I threw all the psychic powers, so I guided the Wraith Blades, doomed the. Did I guide the Wraith Blades? I don't think if I did, then I was being naughty, because I think does guide only work for. Oh, who knows? All these bloody rules. Anyway, but certainly Doom and Smite and all the rest. The Terminators, and then send in some Wraith Blades, and they did a pretty good job of chopping them up. They got fairly far. Oh dear. Oh no. I just realised that I don't know where my new... I was going to check that strat, but I don't know where my new Eldar Codex is. Here's the old boy. Let's put my glasses back on, so I don't get a headache. I can see, but I'll just get a headache if I don't wear them. Did I just see it? John Blanche. Stories by Bill King. We didn't do the stories. They're a bit long. And people have been very kind about listening to me bang on about rubbish. But I think like a couple of paragraphs is enough. If I did a whole story, that's like 2 big pages of stuff. If you really want to hear it, we can do it. Let's learn about the fire dragons first. Let's do that. The fire dragons. This warrior aspect is modelled upon the dragon of Eldar myth, the sinuous, fire-breathing reptile which represents wanton destruction and devastation. Their armour is the colour of fire and flame, and they carry awesomely powerful melter guns which spew deadly fire. Their aspect armour is thicker than that of Dire Avengers, and has many spiny protrusions which help to make it stiffer and more resilient. This is important because the Fire Dragon's weapons have a relatively short range, so they must close with their enemies in order to deliver a murderous blast from their melter guns. The ideal role of the Fire Dragon is to attack fixed fortifications or other stationary forces, using their deadly weapons to root out well-armoured troops or emplaced weapons. Their melter guns are powerful enough to deal with all but the heaviest of armoured vehicles or fortifications. Where speed and tactical flexibility are needed, the short range of their armaments limits their effectiveness. Yeah, I didn't really find that. But they're not that short range anyway nowadays. They're like 9 inches on... push them up to 12 with certain powers and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, they're alright against tanks, I found. And there's not much in the way of stationary armaments in Warhammer 40,000 anymore. I don't know if there ever was, to be honest. Those melter guns probably have an entry as well somewhere, don't they? Guardians, Exarchs, Shadow Seers, Wraithguard. Wraithguard were here, but Wraith Blades weren't, right? Death Jesters, Exodite Knights. Why don't we get Exodites anymore? They're pretty nice now. They are indeed. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about the fire dragons. They're blooming nice. Oh, there's the little blob. I don't think, is that going to tell us anything? Fire dragons are less numerous than Dire Avengers, and their favoured mode of warfare is more specialised. They wear red, orange, and other fiery colours and carry melting on which delivers the blast of intensity. What is... I don't understand what is it. Yeah, I suppose this is the stat sheet bit, and this is the lore-y bit. Fair enough. Okay. Yes. Okay. Are there any fire dragons in here? There's the old chappies. Look at these old heads. Look at that. I've never been a fan of the tiger. I'm sorry. That's not my jam. But some of these are pretty cool. That's cool. That's cool. Oh, they're all cool. They're all cool. Look at that guy. Yeah, that's a Harlequin basically, isn't it? At this point. And look at this Ulthway, it says. That's Ulfway, apparently, back in the old days. Yeah, a lot more freedom. Lovely stuff. The Warlocks of Ulfway. Yeah, back when Ulfway were yellow rather than bone. There's Fuegan. Fuegan learned the art of war in the shrine of Asa under the eyes of Asaman. And that is actually the current Fuegan as well, isn't it? There you go. He later founded the shrines of the fire dragons and schooled them in the art of war with fire and flame. Fuegan is armoured with a massive and deadly fire pike and carries the fire axe. This ancient weapon glows with the heat of its forging. It has never cooled since the day it was made, and the runes upon its surface, there you go, that was a weird thing anyway, the runes upon its surface writhe in fiery agony. I like the idea that the axe is in agony. God, look at that Baroth. Man, I painted up a Baroth for someone recently and I did not do that with him. I wish I'd seen this. Look at this. It's beautiful. Should have looked at this. I looked at the box art for him, I think. He was not that colourful. That is a colourful boy. Love it. But yes, bring back colourful. Those are those guys. Hopefully we'll get them soon. And there you go, those are the ones I was talking about. I used to love as a little kiddie. I have to make tiger helmets. Yeah. Oh, there they are. They are cool. I mean, the GW ones are cool. They're just so little, and they'd feel like... Yeah, this is why I want Jezza to redo them, because I'd probably buy more, if I'm honest, if they make them like that, because they're very cool looking. Just not quite big enough, or bold enough, or dynamic enough to fit in with the rest of the army. And that's no slight on my old Hammer friends. That's just my personal, what I want my army to be like. Aspect armor, more big stories. Oh, their weapons, right, okay. Let's just see if they've got the thing. Just out of curiosity. Wailing Doom, Shuriken Pistol, the Death Spinner Monofilament Gun. I remember reading that as a kid and just being amazed by how cool it was. Grenades, lasers, shurikens, wraith cannons, shuriken tree cannon, distortion cannon on anti-grav platform, scatter lasers, vibro cannons. Where is the thing? Come on. Oh, what? Where's the bit about the melter guns? Do they just give you the stats and then you're done? Get back to your squads. Dire Avengers, Swooping Hawks, Banshee, Striking Scorpions, Warp Sprite, Fire Dragons. Yeah, nothing in there. That doesn't even have the... So yeah, you just get the stats, I guess, for the melter gun. We don't get a nice little lorry bit. Aww. Ruining my fun. Phoenix Lords. I actually don't know much about Fuegan, so I'm going to read this as well, because I'm curious. Fuegan learned the arts of war in the Shrine of Asa, yes, under the eyes of Azaman, like they all did, I think, except for the Karandras. The distant time when the warrior aspects were born. The first of the exarchs, the Asurya, established the shrines. I didn't know that. Asurya. Is that where they got Asuriani from? Maybe when they did the reboot. Anyway, so the first of the exarchs, the Asuria, established the shrines of the aspect warriors, which are found throughout the Eldar Craftworlds. Yes, we know this. Fuegan founded the shrines of the fire dragons and schooled them in the art of war with fire and flame. After the destruction of Asa, Fuegan disappeared for many centuries, before reappearing during the final battle of Harashemash, the world of blood and tears. After that conflict, Fuegan vanished into the Webway and has travelled its secret tunnels ever since, tracking down the enemies of his ancient forebears. Tradition has it that he will be the last of the Phoenix Lords to die. I remember this, when they all gather for the final battle, the Rana Dandra. Fuegan is armed with a massive and deadly fire pike, and carries the fire axe. This ancient weapon glows red, the heat of its forging, never cooled, writhing in agony. Yes, we know that. Well, indeed. Well, there you go. Yes, that is the bit of the only kind of sort of chunky bit of lore about him that I knew already, which was the... I mean, nice to know a little bit more about Haran Shamash. What's this? Well, anyway, I'm doing just a little tidbit of information there, but yeah, I didn't find anything about melter guns. Never mind. Yes, he's going to be the last one bodding about, isn't he? After Ranadandra. So, which I guess that's pulling on Celtic lore, because there's something about that in there. And Ranadandra is Celtic anyway. I don't think the word Ranadandra is, but the origin of that's all tied into that stuff. Right, okay, anyway, blah, 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 blah. Painting minis. Let's do some... Oh, hang on, let's double check. I've got my suspicions. What's in the Webway? Okay, Gil's making some progress. We like it. We like progress. There's the progress. Nice, cool. Oh, so you're doing the what's faces as well. The snipers, the rangers. Very cool. Nice. Continue to progress, my friend. Continue. Our full-throated support. And I am going to orange up a little bit. Shush, cat. No one cares. Shut up. No, don't want to hear it. Oh, good lord. Oh my lord. It's cat screaming out. I'm assuming you guys can hear that. That's got to pass through, surely. Yes, I believe this is what I did. So I'm going to orange up some of these just to pull out a little bit of the detail. It's just, I mean, I'm not doing anything complicated. Watering down some paint and then pulling it over the scaly bits on these shoulder pads. So that it settles in the very many little grooves and pops them out a little bit more. Yes. Yeah, no, she's not hungry, she's just weird. She didn't do it. She never used to do it. It was when did she start? After we moved to the UK, so within the past 3 years. And when she first started making that sound, I got genuinely concerned, because it's quite a distressing noise that she makes, and sometimes she really goes for it, and it sounds like she's in bad pain. I often wonder what the bloody neighbours think we're doing. But she's fine. Took it to the vets. They ran all the tests that they can run, and the vet's conclusion was that she just found a new way of getting our attention. So, and now she does it on the regular, once or twice a day. And I'll, I will go and entertain her sometimes and go and see what it is, but frequently she doesn't even want anything. She's just standing around screaming. So, and now the other one started. You're probably less likely to hear him because he's got slightly more delicate voice. But yeah, I mean, she moans she cries for food like a regular cat as well, but she doesn't use that voice. She doesn't use the someone's ripping out my guts, I'm dying, help voice. She uses a more regular cat cry. She's getting to be an old lady now. See me, exactly. That is exactly what she's doing. It's just funny, isn't it? Because everyone, the stereotype of cats is that they're all very aloof and nah. No, they are not. They're little babies. Little cry babies. Alright. I can hear my other cat going crazy and running around and stuff now as well. Okay, it's obviously the cat witching hour. It does happen. Speaking of the hour, it is 20 to 10. Okay, not so bad. We've got about 50 minutes? 50 minutes to go. So if you're going to share something, better get it shared. And no, it's not just you here, Gil. You're the only one talking, you and me. But according to the thing, according to the statistics, there are more. We normally have at least a portion of the audience is a silent little group. Don't know if that means that people stick it on and then ignore it, or if they're too busy painting. I know that some people just like the background noise of someone banging on. So I suppose there could be bots. Some of you could be bots. But normally if you're bots, you'd be wanting something, so you'd be posting vile and disgusting things. Links in my thingy-mabod. But yeah, no. According to the numbers, it ain't just me and you. They've got little ones down here that I missed on the other guys. I don't know what these guys, like last time I did this as well, they kind of surprised me by how long they're taking me. I don't know, I don't feel like I'm doing anything particularly difficult. I'm paying the streaming tax as well to a certain extent, I suppose. Things take longer when you're chatting. But yeah, they do seem to be taking longer even than they should. I did finish something in the stream, though, didn't I? I finished, I think that was last time. I basically, I was like, I had a tiny bit left to do on him the next day. Morgan Ra, and there's more guitar. So that was good. We did get something done in one of these streams. I mean, finished. We got lots done. Sisters and Blood Angels on Tuesday in the same force, like an allied force, or have you got two games? Because did Sisters ever go through a period in ninth of being super powerful? I don't think they did they? But yeah, I found Blood Angels. If you're playing elves as well, then don't be an idiot like me and actually make a concerted effort to stay away from them, because Blood Angels want to punch you. You know, that's what they do. Blood Angels are punchy. So if you can avoid engagement, then you will be... I mean, like, my mate's shooting round, James's shooting round was basically nothing. In terms of, like, damage done. But his punching round, the fight phase for him, was always very nasty for me. So yeah. Do the honourable elf thing and run away when they run for you. Well, it's tough, isn't it? I mean, like, 40k is meant to be, you know, a game with lots of brawling, with lots of hand-to-hand combat, so they've designed it that way. It is hard to stay away from them. But do what you can. Do what you can, my man. Oh dear, my cat's really going for it. It's the little boy's turn now to run around and cry. That may be because he's gone to the toilet, though. Because for some reason, he has a little funny spell after he goes to the loo. He has to run around the house. There. Oh my lord, he's really going for it. Yeah, they're very odd animals, cats. But I love them. I do. Bringing some Wraith Blades with shields. Yes. Give them that extra 4-up feel no pain, or whatever it is, whatever you call it, 4-up save. And the blades do a good job, because the blades aren't. You used to lose not an attack, did you? No, you used to. They used to be instead of 3-up, 4-ups, I think, but you don't get that anymore. So they're just good. Yeah, I don't think anyone takes the swords anymore, to be honest. I can't even remember what the sword special rule is, but yeah, I mean a 4-up save, a 4-up invulnerable, that's the word I'm looking for. It's pretty hard to say no to that, isn't it? It doesn't make you quite as hardy as the Terminators, I don't think, who've got a natural 2-up. and then a 4-up field, 4-up invulnerable. Is that right? I think for Terminators, sounds right in my head. I think the Wraithblades are 3-up and the 4-up. But anyway, still good enough. And like I say, those were the only things that I could crack the Termies with. So your mileage may vary, but that's what worked for me. Eventually, after getting it wrong a million times. Oh, I thought at one point, if I just go absolutely let's have a look. What have you said? Blood Angels look great. 2 500-point games. Okay, just 2 little baby games. Play the mission, yeah, definitely. Wraithblades shields, give them something to throw themselves against. Nice. Fast Seer and Seer Council to boost them. Very good. 2 extra attacks. Blades of toughness 6. Yeah. Terminators save 2+ and a 5++. Okay. Armor of Contempt, right. Yeah. Is it 5, not 4? Are you sure? Sure it's not 4? Or maybe that was a Blood Angels thing, because pretty sure James was rolling it on 4s. Rather frustrating. Anyway, yeah, so I thought at one point, well, if I do like an absolute shuriken bomb on them, then that'll surely do some work. I thought foolishly. So there's a little combo. It's probably illegal. I probably did something wrong, so I'm sorry if this is all wrong. But what is it? So you can do Stormblade, I think, or Blade of Storms or something. Is one of the strats is called something like that, which gives you exploding 6s, I want to say. So you get an extra hit for every 6, and the extra AP. No, that doesn't happen there. That happens with what's face. No, yeah. So you just get an extra hit. Then you can do Discipline of the Blackguard if you're playing Ulthway like I do, which I think allows you to re-roll everything or ones. And then there's one more as well that you can do. I can't remember what that is. It's like a 3rd strat or something that I did. And I layered them all on top of each other. I thought this is going to do it. Because they were, I mean, at that point, to be fair as well, the Guardians were the only ones who were kind of within striking range of the Termies anyway. And it did, I think it did 2 wounds on a guy. Didn't even take a model off or something like that. Just did nothing. So you definitely, and it's just me being an idiot and not knowing how to play the game properly, because that's obvious. Those things, those shuriken weapons are not made for tanks, not made to attack tanks, and that's effectively what a Termi is. So, yeah, no, don't be an idiot like me. Even if you try and supercharge your shurikens, it ain't gonna do squat. +1 to hit is Blade Storm. Okay. And 3 wounds, yeah. So +1, so Blade Storm, 1 CP, +1 to hit. There's definitely one that gives you exploding 6s. Maybe that's the Blackguard one. I don't know. I'm sure there's one that gave me an extra hit for every 6. And then there was another one as well. if I knew where my cards or my doohickey was, then I would just look it up. But I'm looking at the mess of my room. Yes, it is a mess again, even though I was supposed to get away from mess by moving into this new office. But anyway, we'll get it sorted eventually. And I can't see what I've done with it, unless that's it over there, but I don't think it... Oh no, it is. Oh no, I see it. Okay, 1 second. Whoops. Yes, the nice big chunky new Eldar Codex was sitting all the way at the other side of the room. So, excuse me. Let's have a quick look in here. Where are the? I always use my cards. I never use this, and it'll be out of date now. My cards might have been out of date as well. To be fair, I mean they would be. They are the same as this. So the rules Oh, here we go. Stratagems. God, it's all weird. Martial citizenry. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for guardians until the end of the phase. Right. Let's Dire Avengers. Matches agility. Great enemy. Bum bum bum. Unparalleled mastery, multifaceted mind, linked fire, faint retreat, 4-1, tears of wish, eldritch sword, fire fade, wave grenade, shield discharge, grenade pack star, resonator fusion. This is all what's the face, guys? Harlequins. Okay, so I didn't even see Blade Storm. I don't know why that was. And plus we need the Ulthway one. Do you find martial citizenry? Yeah, reroll hits of 1. The Guardian one is +1 to hit. Yeah. So no exploding 6s? Am I making that up? Oh no. Okay, Blade Storm is exploding hits. Okay. There you go. Yeah. So we're there. We worked it out. Yeah. Anyway, but don't do that if you're shooting Terminators. There you go. Moral of the story: doesn't work. So do that against his. It will work against. Oh, sisters get. Oh, everyone gets something special nowadays. Yeah, because sisters get Armor of Contempt as well, don't they? But they don't all get it, surely. I don't know. Or they're just -1 CP, or I don't know. Something. Striking Scorpions, Dark Reaper, Fire Dragons. All right. It's actually a bit chunkier than it is in the old one, I think. There's a little picture of a Fire Dragon. Very nice. It's a fairly old piece of artwork, I think. If I remember correctly. But maybe I don't. No Terminator meets Sanguinary Guards. Okay, I can't remember. I don't think James plays any of those guys. Maybe he did. I'm sure he'd be very upset that I didn't remember. So the Fire Dragons in nowadays are an aspect warrior that styles themselves upon the dragons of Eldari myth. This seems like literally the sinuous fire-breathing reptile that represents wanton destruction. It's pretty much lifted word for word, I think. God, sisters get Armor of Contempt, do they? Okay, right. Fire dragons are masters of wielding weapons that use heat and fire and take savage delight in the devastation they cause. Such is their affinity with fire that it is not unheard of for their exarchs to manifest a burning corona when consumed with battle lust. Goodness me. Magical Eldari, that's new. I like that. I'm gonna remember that next time I'm playing. Be like, yes, my exarch is currently consumed in a burning corona. Every fire dragon undergoes many hazardous trials and rituals to hone their abilities. Thanks to this training, they know at a glance which parts of their targets will be most susceptible to their weapons. This transcends the mere study of schematics and becomes as much a spiritual knowledge as tactical expertise. It is said that fire dragon exarchs know instinctively how to destroy any armoured behemoth with just a single shot, even if they have never seen that particular engine of war before. The ritual weapons of the fire dragons are fusion guns. These can reduce otherwise impenetrable armour plating to a cloud of superheated vapour in a single moment. Assyriani fusion weapons cause the molecules of the targets to hypervibrate, generating so much heat that the victims burst into flames before turning to molten liquid and then evaporating. Fire dragons also carry discus-shaped fusion charges, which they attach to their enemies' fortifications and lumbering war engines before detonating them with a physically delivered trigger word. Psychically, there you go, it makes more sense. A psychically delivered trigger word. Okay, good, right. Nowhere is safe from the white-hot rage of these aspect warriors, a truth made all the clearer by their wide usage of falcon grav tanks to close with their chosen foe. That is exactly what I do when I play with them. Or, wave serpents, more commonly, because I take quite a big blob of them. Fuegan the Burning Lance. Fuegan is the Phoenix Lord of the Fire Dragons and the founder of the Aspect. He has schooled his disciples in mastering the powers of the dragon rather than regarding oblivion only as a force of discord. He hopes that through selective destruction, the Eldari can bring harmony.
To the Assyriani, Fuegan is a mighty hero, often depicted holding the cosmic serpent of wisdom and entropy in his fiery grasp. Serpents, that makes more sense. Fuegan has devoted himself fully to the destruction of the Assyriani's enemies, pitilessly eradicating them one by one. He has spent the millennia travelling the ancient tunnels of the Webway, emerging only when it serves his noble cause. Of late, the flames of Fuegan's firepike, Searsong, have burned hotter and more often than ever before. Legend tells that the burning lance will be the last of the Phoenix Lords to fall in the battle against Chaos, the Rana Dandra, the end of all days. Bum, 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 bum. Nice. Actually, that was a little bit better than the old book, I'll be honest. Eldar are simply the coolest faction. Yes, they simply are the coolest faction. I couldn't agree more. But normally I prefer, I'll be honest, in my experience, the old book for lore, because it's normally got a bit more substance to it, but quite the opposite with Fire Dragons. I did like that stuff in the new book about them. I do like the idea of them vaporizing their enemies. Psychically activating their grenades. It's all rather cool. Okay, it's getting to that time of the evening where the brain box is slowing down. Beep, 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 beep. Bum, bum, bum. Armor of Contempt. It's a good name, that. Okay, so we've done, oh no, but you're done. Okay, cool. We've done the orangey fill-ins on there. See, the next thing would be to start adding in some highlights. And I don't, wouldn't it? I believe that's it. Adding in highlights and doing gems and doing kind of fiddly stuff. Although the highlights not be too bad, actually. If I grab a guy that's not been done. There are aspects of the highlight that won't be too bad to do. For example, what you just grab some straight up yellow, work it into the bristles of my brush, add a bit of extra vavavoom to these loincloths for a start. Sing a little more. All this yellow up here is going to be too bright to even bother doing straight yellow on. Back here though, add a little bit of extra shenanigans to that. Yeah, looks better. You can't really tell, can you? On the video, I doubt anyway. But that's fine. Drukhari, you know what I need to do, Gil, to do that? I need to buy the Drukhari codex. I don't have the Drukhari. I mean, I wouldn't get them. I'm kind of, I've never been a Drukhari person, and then I got it in my head, and then, I mean, actually, guy from Midwinter Minis did this with a Drukhari model, but I got it in my head that it would be fun to do a really violently pink Drukhari army or something like that. Just go and explore some dare I say it, fetish fashion or something like that. It's not, I don't know anything about it, but I'm pretty sure if you dig around you'll find some pretty interesting color schemes rather than just black. But I feel that could be something that would tempt me to do a Drukhari army. But then I say that, the last thing I said about starting armies, when I was speaking to James about it, is do links work? Links should work. I think they work for you and me.
when we were talking about that kind of stuff, because James is like, he wants one of every army, and he wants like full armies and all that kind of stuff. That's his bag. But like, I just like painting minis, and I don't know if I can handle another whole army. I like my Chaos army. I like my see, the only thing about not having, so I've got Chaos army, but then the elves I've got Harlequins and Assyriani, and the only thing that could maybe tempt me to get a few Drukhari is if I ever decide I want to dip my toe in the Inari pool, just for fun. I know that everyone talks about how GW's abandoned the Inari and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't care. It's just another little aspect of the elves that could be fun to play with. And I do want to paint up the triumvirate at some point, of course, as every self-respecting Eldari painter should, because they're a slightly different take on the Eldar aesthetic. Don't even know if I 100% like it, but Ivrain's like kind of, what would you call that? It's a kind of mock medieval? No. Victorian? No. I don't know. It's a mix. Because she's supposed to be wearing like ancient Eldari clothing, right? From the around the time of the fall. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not 100% in love with those models, but I would like to paint them. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like them. There's other Eldar models I prefer. But that said, yeah, I'd still love to paint them. So, and then for that reason, might be nice. And the Drukhari do have some models that I do like. Like I do like their kind of gross homunculus-y chappy things, the big like ogre things. And they got some great third-party stuff as well, actually, including from Artel. So, yeah, and yeah, like I say, like do something that is not dark and brooding violence. That's like in your face violence. And I actually think that pink can be an exceptionally violent color if you get it, really bright and in your face. And like culturally, we associate it obviously with girly things or whatever, but just kind of on a physical level, it feels quite... Yeah. The grotesques, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Dropping in for a quick look, beautiful pyro earthy tones. Well done. Thank you very much, Mr. Nick Harvey. Thank you very much. Yeah, stick around if you can, but if you're just dropping in, that's fine too. Hello and goodbye. Yeah, they did, these guys kind of... They're a little bit... I mean, no, they're fairly earthy, but they're a little bit more orangey, I think, in the real, in the flesh. But yeah, it is a kind of an earthier take, which yeah, I like. They're not quite like in your face orange. Drukhari should have decadent colours. Yeah, decadent violent. Yeah. I mean, I get why they're black, because they want to make them look like bondage pirates, and that's fine. But I do feel like there's more to explore than just plain old black. But then I don't know that much about them. I've never owned a Drukhari codex, so I don't know. Maybe there's factions and stuff that I don't know about, sub-factions that I don't know about, that are described as that. But I've never seen them in an official artwork represented quite how I imagine they could be. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see if I ever get around to that. I mean, I'll let you in on a secret. There's also a part of me that next year I've got a couple of like longer term projects that I'm considering for next year, for the channel and all that, and for my personal fun. One of them would involve painting Drukhari anyway, so they are the original Eldar. Indeed they are, the ones that birthed Slaanesh. That's them. Yeah, clashing as well. Yeah. So like, yeah, clashing or like too much going on or something that is dissonant, right? That's what you want. It's the color dissonance that you're after. So you could do like just an exceptionally full on pink and an exceptionally full on turquoise or cyan or something. And although those are not like clashing colors per se, if you balance them right, that can be quite a nice color scheme. If you make the pink a bit richer and then just let the turquoise sing, or the other way around. If they're both very powerful, then they fight against each other, and I think that's actually could be cool. Difficult to pull off because you don't want it to look like you just didn't know what you were doing and you got your colors kind of misbalanced on the mini. But fun challenge. A fun challenge indeed. Oh, I've just had another idea actually. Okay, well let me just tell you, because it's just me and a few of you. Yeah, let you into little behind the scenes thinking. So one idea for a long term project. So I say I've got a couple, but one idea I had was to do to paint every major sub-faction in Warhammer 40,000. So all of the major Space Marine chapters. I've done all the Eldar already. There's a video. You can go and look at that. All the Drukhari, all the Gene Stealer cults, just do every single one. And I mean, it's like I say, it's a long-term project. It's not something you even necessarily finish in a year, but just one model from each. But just do like how I would paint, Gene Stealer XYZ, Gene Stealer cults XYZ. Another idea that just occurred to me is just to do like there's a guy he's gotten quite big recently. I caught his channel on the Upspin. Yeah, no worries, Mr. Nick. Yeah, we'll see you later. And now I can't for the life of me remember the guy's or the channel's name, unfortunately. So sorry, Mr. Chap. But he has a series of videos called Making Better Monsters, where he goes through the D&D monsters. He's an artist, sorry, he's a drawer, I mean that's what he's doing in his video, so it's not. Yeah. Anyway, he's a map maker actually. Sorry, but that's how his channel kind of started. He's making maps for D&D and stuff, I think. Anyway, he does Making Better Monsters, where he picks apart D&D, like classic D&D monsters, and he tries to make like an updated version or a different version, or one that he personally finds more compelling than the classic story, or something like that. He does his take on that. So that could be an interesting thing to apply to 40k as well. Making better Drukhari. Making better. I mean, I don't think I'd call it that, because it's quite a bold title for for me personally. But it could be fun to do like my take on each of the, or like could combine the two ideas. You could do like painting one of every of the major sub factions plus one bonus. Like, how about this as an alternative scheme? That's not an official one, but how I might approach that one. Anyway, it's lots of when you're producing a lot of content, sometimes you just need an idea that's going to run for a long time. Drukhari's for good, yeah. And that's one. There you go. There's an idea that I can just keep on making videos about and not have to kind of worry about the theme of the content or whether it ties in with anything that I've been doing or whatever. Playlists, I don't know if playlists drive views like YouTube seems to want to pretend they do. I'm not convinced by that, but it does help the creation process when you've got like a nice big project that you can work through like that. My other idea is a bit more creative. Maybe that's what I just focus on those 2 ideas actually for next year, interspersed with other random stuff. The other idea, this one is top secret, but I'm thinking of getting a little bit more into doing some diorama work and some diorama-y type things, or some. I really enjoyed doing like, what did I do that? Like my it's tiny. It's not even a diorama. It's just a mini on a thing. But the guy with the big hammer that you've seen a million times before, and doing a little bit of extra work to snazz up the base when I did the Vindicare Assassin. I really enjoyed those projects, and I would like to explore that aspect of the hobby a bit more, where you branch out from the mini and you start making a bit more of the world around it and stuff. I just think it'd be neat, and so I would like to maybe do a series of grim dark, I won't say 40k, but grim dark mini dioramas. I'm speaking like, well, I've got a very specific size in mind, about that big, and maybe this way or this way, it doesn't really matter what aspect it is, of the major arcana of the tarot deck. Tie in to what I was saying earlier, right? I think that could be a really fun project, because the visual language is all there for you. It's all coded. It's all done. You don't necessarily have to think about that, but it's ambiguous enough, and it's broad enough that you can play with it. You can have your own fun. So yeah, those are the two long-term projects, and I mean both of them are huge, right? How many sub-factions are there in 40k? Roughly 40,000, I would say. How many major arcana are there? Whatever it is, 20, whatever it is, 2 or something. So yeah, they would last a while. They would keep me busy, that's for sure. But I think it would be fun. I think I would enjoy it. But yeah, maybe. It's an idea. It's also 12 minutes past. I was going to say 10, but that's a lie. 12 minutes. About 6 more per faction, right? Yeah. And there's plenty of factions. It is, 10 past 10. So we're about 20 minutes. Let's see, Gil, you snuck another photo in there. I'll wait around. I don't know. We got more viewers than just me and Gil, but I don't know. You guys seem to be quiet, so if you're not going to post, that's fine too. But if you are, get it in there. Come on, what are you waiting for? Let me see. Let me see your stuff. Right, one of these chappies. I've got it all mixed up now. Had a bit more work. Hasn't really done anything, that yellow. Oh, this is the problem. He runs his mouth and he's not really paying attention to what he's doing, and that yellow that I've added there, it's not doing anything. Hasn't really made much of a difference to the appearance of the miniature. So let's do some more. Yeah, about 6 per faction. And how many factions? Off the top of my head, I don't know. Me in life, just here for the experience. You lost your cutters and glue? My lord, man. That's pure madness. I'm gendering again. It's such a bad habit. I'm sorry. I don't think we've talked about whether you're a he, a she, or an other. What was I going to do? Games Workshop. I was going to have a look at how many Warhammer 40,000 doohickeys there are, because off the top of my head, like I said, I can't really remember. Not the number anyway. I could probably list them all. So Space Marines, there are generic Space Marines, but they don't count. Well, no, they don't count. Yeah, that wouldn't be part of the thing. You've got Black Templars. There's just one of those, right? They don't have sub-factions. They are a sub-faction. Blood Angels, same. Dark Angels, Death Watch, Grey Knights, Imperial Fists, Iron Hands, Raven Guard, Salamanders, Space Wolves, Ultramarines, White Scars, right? So there's 12 of them. That makes sense, 9 plus the couple of extras. I've already done some of these. I don't know if it'd be worth doing them again. Like there's videos on... I mean, I've done loads of Space Marines. I've basically done all the colours, but it's just... I haven't labelled them necessarily as... what's those? Because Space Marines were what I did for the doohickey videos, the underpainting videos. But I haven't ever done Black Templars on the channel. Or Death Watch. Is that right? Yes, but I have done Grey Knights. Yeah. What's the difference between... Hang on. Which one's the Death Watch? Death Watch are the black guys. The guys who wear black armour, I mean. And Black Templars are the ones who wear black armour? What's the difference? Death Watch are the ones that hate Xenos, and Black Templar are the... I mean, they all hate Xenos, but you know what I mean? Oh, I don't know. All the bloody Space Marines look the same. I'm sorry. There, I said it. Then I'm not going to feel bad about it. Oh my god. And then so Sisters, they've got like 6, right? Custodes, yeah, they've got like 3 or 4 sub-factions. Adeptus Mechanicus is like probably 5 or 6 different planets, right? Astra Militarum, that's so weird and open-ended. I don't know what I'd do about that, because they're whole different models. It's not like I could buy like one. Well, maybe I could. I don't know. Anyway, Imperial Knights. Oh lord, no. Okay, I'm beginning to think maybe this wasn't the best idea in the world. The Inquisition's a weird one. They've only got 8 models anyway. Assassinorum as well. That wouldn't really count. If you were like, if the theme was all of the sub factions, then I don't think like that. Imperial Knight, someone would have to buy them for me. I can't afford that. Chaos, the Demons is also kind of a weird one. They don't have sub-factions per se. Chaos Knights, same as the other Knights. Chaos Space Marines, loads of sub-factions to do in that. It's the 9. So, yeah. But then Death Guard and Thousand Sons, I don't know if they're sub-faction at all. Do they? I guess they might. Because they've got their own codices now, right? Fanatic ones, Death Watch are the bag of mix. That's it. Yeah. 22 factions, 11 Space Marine supplements. Yeah, no need to do them, but they are just Space Marines. Yeah. So then the Xenos army. So yeah, so Eldari, we know all about them, and we've actually got a video on that already, so technically wouldn't have to redo that. Drukhari, I don't know how many sub-factions they have or how it works with them. Genestealer cults, I know I looked at this before because I was considering collecting a Genestealer cult army at one point. I don't remember all of them, but they've got like 6 proper like sub-factions. The Necron dynasties, do they look different? I can't picture in my head like a bunch of different looking Necron. Orcs that's like a classic sub-faction thing, different colours. But all the rest, Tau, there are some with different schemes, but sometimes it's also just different markings, right? And then the Tyranids have got the hives. I don't know if they're or whatever they call them. And then the Leagues of Votan, yeah, they've got proper sub-factions as well. Yeah, so it's a lot. It's a hell of a lot. I think it's more than 52, right? So this is like a multi-year project, really. Because even if I did a video every week exclusively on that project, yeah, it's big. Yeah, but you know, it's big, but I got time. 3 major Drukhari ones. Okay, yeah. Demons have 4 sub-factions. Well, I mean, they've got the 4 gods, but in my head, what I'm thinking is, in the way like with Eldar, you can buy a box of what do you call them? No, Guardians, for example, like I did for the Major Craft Worlds video. You can buy a box of Guardians, and you don't need to do anything but build the models, and you could end up at the end of the whole process with one of each of the Major Craft Worlds, right? And the minor ones, without doing any modifications or buying other different minis or whatever. It's just like, here is the Ulthway flavor Guardian, here is the Eandon flavored Guardian, here is, you know, with demons. Is that how it works? I think it is it? I actually, that was a sneaky little Black Friday present to myself. I bought the Demon Codex so I can do some monster mashing with my Chaos Space Marines. But anyway, yeah, with the what's faces, it's just the gods, right? So you'd have to have like, which I already have actually. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but I have one. I have a representative of each of the in demon form of each of the chaos gods. So I've got the big not the big wolves, the big doggies for Khorne, and obviously demonettes for Slanesh. But that was third-party models because I don't like the GW ones. I've got the screamers for Siege, and I've got some Nurglings for Nurgle. So yeah, done that one already, but it wasn't a video. I just painted them. Needing some insight on Drukariism, getting enough for a 500-point army, nice, and need some pointers on aspects like the obsessions, like which one is the best. If anyone can help, yeah. As I said, I can't help you with that one. Certainly don't know anything about the rules of the Drukari. I'm pretty. What do you call it? I don't know much about the Drukari generally. Certainly nothing about how the rules work. I do like at least the name of that though. That feels very appropriate. Obsessions. The Drukari obsessions. Lovely, lovely. Yeah, no, I'm getting into the weeds with these guys a little bit. I mean, I could stick some basing material on these and they'd look fine on it. They do look fine on the tabletop. I've played with them. The big thing that would make the difference on these, which is what I should have started with tonight, is the gems, because the plan for the gems is green. And now I'm looking at my thing. Then I didn't bring green up, brought blue up anyway. I could have made green if I wanted to. But yeah, that'll be the final finishing touches. The little boop boop, 2 little spits of green per model. Because for some reason these guys have got 2 spirit stones, one in their head and one on their chest. Shut up, cat. Yeah, we have progressed on them though. We have made progress. Progress has been made. I'm going into my end spiel because it's 8 minutes before we close up. Each subfaction, Cabal, Witch Cult, or Homunculus Coven have their own subfactions. I say Cabal of the Black Heart is the better one. Ah, okay, that's interesting. That's how it works. Cult of Strife. Yeah, right. Yeah, because you've got the 3 kind of like flavors of Drukari, but then within that you've got it's kind of a weird organizational situation. And I don't like rules wise. There's always been this like kind of slight annoyance in how you can put them together or something. I think, isn't there? But they've kind of fixed that now. Is that ringing true for Drukari players? That's what I feel like. The impression I got from not fully paying attention, but paying just enough attention to be misinformed. You did catch us at the end, Astro Wolf Gaming. Boo. Too bad. But we do it every month so far. I mean, well, I don't know. I haven't spoken. It was always just a kind of a plan to keep on keeping on until we didn't. I don't know what Science Pie's plan for the new year is. I'll have to talk about that. But yeah. good subs. To the end. I'm sure which Covens is the better one now. They've fixed it now. Okay, yeah. You invited me to... Ah, there you go. Sorry. Yes. I do this every single time with people that I already know. So my bad. I never managed to put 2 and 2 together. With names and I was going to say names and faces, but that's not quite right. You know what I mean? Names from on different platforms. I think it's because I mostly even when the name is the same, I remember people more by their avatar image, by their profile picture, whatever you want to call it, than I do by the name. So my apologies, and thank you very much for the invite to that, by the way. I've got someone that I want to invite, but I thought I did it, but I'm not sure if I misdid it or if he just was too busy and didn't click the link in time. I have to pester him about that again. Well, I mean, if he's even interested in joining, I don't know. So you're watching early. I have a hobby account for uploading videos, right? There you go. Okay, right. Yes. Yeah, I've got the same thing. So this GRG Miniatures account is just for uploading videos, and I don't really watch videos on this account. And then my kind of personal account, if you like, knows me better. Although my algorithm's gone all weird again. This happens. You go through phases where it goes like, oh, so you watched one video about this random subject. Now you will have 1,000 videos on the random subject. And then I have to like, it's a bit weird. I feel like I curate the algorithm. So like, then I have to go back and make a specific effort to watch some other stuff, like some, painting videos or whatever it is, to get the algorithm back to showing me that kind of content. Madness. Making a concerted effort to train the machine. So it goes. Yeah, we're definitely coming to the end of the stream because not only is it coming to the 10:30 cutoff period, but it's also getting to the period where I cease to be able to talk. My brain has gone all the way to OS mode. So let's round things out. I'm going to have a quick squizzle at Discord. Yes, all right. Well, so we do have one last little have a look-sees at what Gil's been working. Oh, there he is. Ooh, Wraithblade in the back there. Very nice. And yes, it's the colour, Gil. It's the colour. Well, I feel like this is different to this. Is that right? It feels like a slightly different shade. Am I going crazy? Well, anyway, they still look lovely. And you need to continue to slay your greys off. But well on the way. Cool. Oh my lord, I'm definitely getting tired. I nearly hit the stop streaming button instead of the transition button, and then I didn't even transition to what I wanted to transition to. I transitioned to something completely different. So God alone knows what's going on. It's late. I've been a busy boy, but it has been a pleasure as always. I tried a new base coat. There you go. Just catch up with the chat here quickly. Only problem with some subfactions is that they have to have a certain HQ or unit to be at full potential, which is a money well. Have to fill, which is frustrating. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, luckily for me, I just knew that I was going to play Ulthway when I started collecting Eldar again, and I was just like, yep, and that's mostly because I want Eldra. So it was kind of no-brainer for me. And then my subfaction in Chaos is word bearers who don't have any special models at all. I don't think. I mean, the Apostle is he can go in anything, but he's kind of word bearer flavored, I would say. But yeah, I don't think word bearers have anything that's particularly specific to them, which is a shame. I quite like the word bearers. But there you go. So it goes. Let's
capitalist. The Drukhari faction is capitalist, but it's fine. The slave trade, is that what you're referring to? The fact that they're slavers? Or is that just because the way you have to buy them? I don't know. Oh, okay, there you go. That's nice to know, Mr. LLs. Call you Mr. Is it Mr. Shall I call you Mr. L's or Mr. LS? I don't know. Or Mr.'s or Merles. Maybe it's Merles. I don't know. There's many options. Or maybe you're doing cool, well, so when they take take the vowels out of things. That's cool, right? Branding, that's the word I was looking for. There you go. Cool branding. All right, okay, yes, it is 10:30. I won't lie, I'm a sleepy boy today. I've been a busy boy. I've been labouring hard all day. But it's always a pleasure to spend time with you guys. You bring a little happiness to my hobby every time we do this. So I will see you again next month, sooner than you think, because we definitely ain't doing one at the last Saturday because it's like Christmas or the middle of the period between Christmas and New Year's or whatever it is. So it'll be pretty early next month. So keep your eyes peeled because it's probably only going to be a couple of weeks before we do this again. Demon Prince Lorgar, when will you be mine? I love that. They'll get to Demon Prince Lorgar eventually, but like I've said before, it's way down the line, I think. Anyway, you're dragging me in. You're dragging me in. I'm signing off. Stop dragging me in. I'll leave the chat open for a little bit, as I always do, so you can say your hellos and your goodbyes. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled because we'll be doing it again in no time at all. Much love, my dudes, and I'll see you next time. Bye.